regardless of which religion you were in, and I'll say specifically in America, I think Christianity is the dominant religion. But I definitely know, like back in the day, that even if you didn't go to church, like I remember being in church and parents used to drop their kid off at church, even if they didn't attend church, because it was a safe place for their kid to be while they were out running the street on Sunday.
I
um,
don't think that that's the reason why. It's probably because they didn't want to attend, but they knew the value of preaching, understanding the values of going to church. They wanted their child to have a I mean, because who runs the streets on Sunday morning?
Crackheads.
You been to
Well, I
Houston?
mean, but crackheads. I mean, how many
Like,
people?
Like,
Listen, but how many people are crackheads? Like
there's a
so,
lot of
I
crackheads.
where I grew up, it was a
There's a
lot.
lot of crackheads.
It was a lot. But it was a safe place. But I think as a whole that was part of the societal culture to be a part of an organized religion. After a while, of course, it started that began to change. But organized religion absolutely, I believe, had authority.
okay.
Like with a W, like I'm a whore.
But define that though.
Like I'm a whore.
Go ahead, Shan.
What if Summer comes to you as pretty as she is and says, "Mom, I want to be a city girl"?
She ain't gonna be no city girl.
So Summer ain't allowed to be no city girl?
No. I want her raised totally different. Like, I don't even want her to even see the light of day like that. Like, I really want her to just be like, like level-headed, a schoolgirl, and just on a whole nother ways. Like, I kind of was raised different, so I don't want to raise her up how I was raised. So, I'm a city girl, ain't nothing wrong with it, but I don't want that for my daughter. Like with a W, like I'm a whore.
But define that though.
Throw them all away in the trash.
Okay, so this is going back to what I think Enos was trying to bring this point up about the video. So you can go ahead now that we've seen the video, Enos, if you still had your point that you were trying to make with the video.
So I made my point, but I'll reiterate it for the sake of the conversation. Like, you can't say that you don't know that what you're doing is wrong and not want it for your own children, right? Like there's like an intellectual conflict in the way that you're behaving, what you're promoting, and that it's cool for you and for other people, but it's not cool for your children. I think that the whole leading by example thing, that happens whether it's intentional or unintentional.
But do you think that that's just what people do, especially because let's just be honest, most people before us got rich off of somebody else's back by doing somebody dirty, okay? And so, or doing something that we would deem to be, just not a good
Exploitation.
thing.
Right.
Right.
Exploitation.
So
Don't get
it
Marcus
just so
started, please.
happens in this moment we're talking about sexual activity, So I think that that's just what people, you always want your kids to be better than you are. You can recognize that I'm doing things wrong, but I do want my children, and I want my children to follow me. I do it for them, so they don't have to do what I did. Like, you guys ever heard that? Not necessarily. Just take
Well,
sex out of it.
I would
But
say
most-
that. Go ahead.
just take the sex out of it. You've never heard parents say that, like, I do what I do so that you don't have to do what I'm doing.
Wait, what? So that's a bit confusing. So, if I understand that, I've heard people say that, of course, but the person who's saying it has already made changes in their life to be the exemplar for their child. So you can freely say, listen, I used to be a city girl. I was out here running the streets. And in order to show my daughter better, I have changed my life around so she does not have this road. She is young. What is her name? Young Miami is fully immersed in city girl culture still till this day. So she, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm
shouldn't-
sorry.
That's
Go ahead and finish your statement. I'm sorry. And then let me go, right? Because I have a question for you. Go ahead, Mike. I don't want to.
I was done.
Okay. So my question is this, though. look at the grand scheme of things. And I'm not taking up for her because I don't even know the city girls like that. This young lady just keeps popping up on my, whatever. I don't. But my question is, so I see the dilemma a little bit. The problem is when somebody's throwing money in your face and this is your bread and butter. You understand? It's almost like you have to choose. Do I leave all of this alone and go back to being poor? Because I don't even know what what else she can do, what her other talent is. I'm pretty sure she has some, I guess. Or do I continue to do this and just teach my kid like, hey, this isn't right. But unfortunately, this is what's bringing in the money so that we can live a certain lifestyle and probably get out of what we were before. Because she clearly said too in there, her mom, she wasn't raised that way. Her parents raised her totally different. So she doesn't want to raise her kids the same way her parents raised her. So I was just wondering what your thoughts on that is.
I'm gonna just say this part real quick, and I don't know Yanaz wants to go next. There are the people who have tried to separate those two things and think that they can do the job and not have it affect their children. It's never worked out in their favor. It never works.
I agree with that.
Is she married? I'm just curious. I don't know anything
I'm
about
just
this
saying,
already.
people dropping the
No,
bag. Y'all listen.
she's one of Diddy's women.
The bag on you. If you're going out in this job and you know morally it's just not good for your kids to see that happening, but you're not really taking your clothes off. You're just doing something unethical. Let's just say, not unethical. Well, I guess
immoral, maybe.
Immoral. You're doing something of that nature. Are you gonna stop if it's legal? Imagine the money, and that's your bread and butter. That's your claim to fame. So think about it like this. Think about the 2 seconds. I'm sorry, Miles. Think about it like this. How is it any different if you are a movie star and you're butt naked in a scene and you letting a guy, and now your child has to see you get tossed? Even if it's an A1 film, the fact of the matter, I just saw my mom get grabbed up by a man, even though she's acting, and just to grind on. So I think that we have a way of the same stuff, but just making it classier when it's in a certain environment and opposed to another environment. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
I hear what you're saying. To me, it doesn't make sense, right? Because here's the thing: is when it's an actress, it's not even her role; it's part of that role. And there's a whole typically body of work where that is the exception to the rule and not the only thing that they're promoting, right? And when it comes to these, because we're talking about the women right now, when it comes to these women who do that musically, I see them the same way that I look at some of the younger guys that go into professional sports, right? They think this is their only avenue. This is the money, and if I don't keep doing it, I run out. They don't set themselves up for success to exit. They don't have an exit strategy, right? When we look at the Rihannas of the world and the other artists that were doing something similar, they were able to set up other businesses, other income, so that they didn't have to keep doing it. People have been begging Rihanna for an album for like a decade now, and she won't do it, right? Because she no longer has to rely on the music industry and the way that she was selling herself in that way to do it. I think that it's a bit of a cop-out. If you really don't want to set that example, then you have to figure an exit strategy. And whether you tell your children, I did this so that we can survive and we can eat and we can maintain this lifestyle, they don't process that. They imitate what they see as an example, and the first example is the parents.
And they know it. I think one of the biggest things that I've seen when I was in the mental health, like somebody said it here, during the family therapy sessions, it's almost as if the kid was loading it up and had it in their clip the whole time, where the mom is saying, her part, and I don't want you to do blank and I want you to be better. Well, you did it because you were doing blank when you left dad. And they wait their whole lives to let you know that what you did gives me license to do what I'm doing. Kids are not dumb. They hold that in the clip for the biggest thing possible, right? Whether it's getting pregnant young, or well, you did it. I don't see what's wrong with me. That is pretty much solidified in a fact in history. Single mom will breed another single mom. A teen mother will breed another teen mother. We see these outcomes being repeated. So if you actually want to stop it, like Enon said, you have to formulate an exit strategy. And I also believe that you should not hide it. Right? My father-in-law was a crackhead in the 80s. Okay, he does not hide that. He is a pastor now. Right? He lets people know that he was not there for his daughters during the crap epidemic. He was wrong, and a lot of the deficits they have. This is why he came to us as their husbands, right? Like, look, some of the stuff they have going on, that's my fault. If they're a little compatible, that's my fault. I wasn't there. I was raised for the rock. So I don't have to be extra hard on them. I'm hard on them now, but so it's like you got to really choose that lead. That's sad, really, to hear, because I feel for the baby girl.
Your mic is messed up, Trigger Mike.
Oh, okay.
It's fine now.
Okay. She's gonna be singing that her booty hole's brown in about 10 years. That's all I can say.
3.
Sometimes it can be the opposite, though. Sometimes
rarely.
Sometimes people do the opposite of what their parents
do. Well, you know what? You know what it is, though, Shan? I used to think people were inherently good.
Not today. I don't know what's going on.
That's not. It's not that people. People are inherently good to the point where they don't want to bring physical harm to the point of deletion to other people. But people are actually inherently mischievous when given the choice to do what is stable versus and boring versus what is exciting. They will choose what is stimulating and exciting. Right. So think about it. A young person faced with that choice and an excuse because her mom did it, they're 99% of the time gonna make the wrong choice.